we were in Tourmaline, capital city of the Elven Empire. You had a drag-out fight with some, it turns out, relatively sympathetic Ruamite nomad people, and a demon that was surprisingly squishy. And then made a friend with retired, we'll put that in inverted commas, spy, Eve, who is the nice elven lady next door in Haberdasher's dressmaking shop, and apparently retired master spy. And you had some discussions about the political situation in the Elven Empire. I believe that's where we left off.
I had not realized during last session, or I did not remember during the last session what we had learned the session before, which was, or a couple before, which was that the nomad dude leader who showed up at the party was all enthusiastic about meeting the queen. Which
was indeed.
Right, because he said when she comes to town tomorrow, and we get the impression that Puck has like zero desire for this to occur, but we do know that the queen is in town, probably not even tomorrow, but later today.
Yes, that is certainly what I think I should have told you. I'm trying to remember if I even made you make a roll to know that the queen was coming to town. I don't think I got that.
You might have, but
parties. So yes, there is the Elf Queen has processed in her going round the various important elven cities and having the Sealy Court meet at different places, and it meets again today in Tourmaline. Perhaps meeting with Humer, the nomad lawgiver, who is visiting his good friend Puck.
Well, this feels like a potentially climactic event that we should probably be in on somehow.
There are no railroads in this game, so it could potentially.
I know.
But if you want to,
I'm just saying, in terms of potential, this seems like the spot.
In fact, actually, I had prepared something almost resembling box text to say as the sort of morning wears on, and you are perhaps clearing up the broken glass and tidying up the shop and trying to get the aroma of deceased demon out of Relaxicam. You may notice the procession of nice old ladies coming and going next door and having a bit of a natter with Eve. And if you are minded to overhear, you will hear about how the rumblings within Tourmaline, the unrest that appears to be happening in some of the forester areas where they have heard that nomads are making political overtures to the Empire and seeking to further oppress their cousins across the water in Hillfolk territory. Perhaps there's even a rumour. Someone give me an inspiration roll. There's a rumour that some nomads have been attacked and perhaps even killed down near the docks.
Oh.
Intuition, sorry.
Intuition, no. Someone else, maybe.
Anything but passable is great if anyone's rolled it.
I have rolled a good.
Which is obviously means you realise that the rumours that some nomads have been attacked and possibly killed relate to the fact that you killed some people who look like nomads in the middle. And generally, it almost appears that the normal average citizens of the Elven Empire are suddenly taking an interest in faraway countries of which they know little and where people are killing each other. And perhaps considering what sides may be appropriate to take in that sort of a conflict.
All right.
Meanwhile, you have two Ruamites hidden in the shop upstairs because you decided not to point them out to the Viking
crew, right.
law people who came.
Right, Viking.
What's the one called? Viking Watch, who came to sort things out earlier.
Well, we should get some more advice from Eve about how we can, how to say this, like, is this, the queen is holding court, right? So in theory, multiple people will have the opportunity to speak before the Queen in a sort of I haven't watched Elizabethan costume drama in a long time.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, so Eve's nodding and she fills up your teacup as you sit there in the. She has a rocking chair near the door of her shop that you can see people passing outside, and she says, "Well, obviously, theoretically, anybody can come to the Sealy Court and make their case about things, and I'm sure if anybody wanted to do that, they would be entirely welcome. But perhaps some people are more easily heard than others. After all, they only have a certain amount of time in which to conduct business, but there will be certainly be many people wanting to get the Queen's ear and the Chief Counselor's ears."
What does one do if one wants to be more noticeable?
No, I think that you might want to announce yourself as...
Oh, right. My sister's famous. Okay.
Related to...
Yeah.
That's one guess. Another interesting point I want to raise is that the Unseelie Court has agents that are active here, as we met one in Smith City who gave me these papers, Eve.
Ooh, are you sharing them with her so she can have a look at them?
This is the right person at last. And furthermore, that these now, do I know the name Ganconair, or was he just like a creepy dark guy as far as I was concerned?
That's a good question. I feel I must have made you make a roll for this at some point. I don't know if you ever make another one. Why not?
Legendary or?
Let's do legends. I feel like legends can't really count people who are alive and in your face and causing trouble, but why not?
Okay. Ooh. I have a 63, and with a legends which I have raised to 7 through dint of hard work, that still only gets me a poor, which, as Rod will be quick to point out, is not actually entirely a failure.
I'm tempted to give you a +1 column shift for, as I stated, how can they really be that legendary if you met one?
Okay.
Let's call that, bump that one up from poor to passable and say, yes, you have heard of Ganconairs and enough circumstantial evidence to do with mind control and horrible creepy things would certainly give you the idea that he was
the effect on my sister, and it's a good thing she's up here in Tourmaline where there aren't any, or wait a minute, are there?
Dun dun dun.
And the question is whether I finally put 2 and 2 together. It was a failed empathy roll that failed this last time.
You could make an intuition roll to try and put 2 and 2 together.
But I already made an intuition roll. The dice aren't going to let me do it again.
It's for a completely different thing. The GM will let you do it again.
Oh, God.
The dice will not shine on you.
The dice totally borked me.
Oh, well. You are obviously confident you have brought... well, it sounds like you're sharing some of this with Eve, and so...
Oh, yeah, I will definitely talk about how one of these Ganconair was after my sister, and that getting her up here under Puck's protection was important. But now I'm wondering whether Puck has any competence about this at all, and this is the paper that dude gave to me.
Yeah.
So at least it's not a completely irrelevant topic. I just do not make the connection that I just saw my sister getting kissed by another one just last night.
No. So, yes, we don't have any... Eve doesn't have any reason to think there are actively Unseelie Court people running around Tourmaline. I'm sure that none of the powers that be would stand for that. Although she, there's the possibility that she looks a little unsure about that, given her poor opinion of some of the powers that be at the moment.
So among my fellow players, does anyone want to bet that my sister is not being primed as an assassin against the Queen by these people? No, this is completely out of I should say my character's sister, because this is not anything that Shining Star is saying. This is what Shining Star is blithely ignorant of.
Excellent. Well, I guess we'll just carry on with our plans then.
However, Eve is certainly happy to look over the paperwork and, in a way that only old ladies can do, making disapproving tutting noises. Actually,
Right. Oh no. Oh no. Tut tut.
and she does offer to explain the strange and unnecessarily baroque nature of Puck's and Ernest's schemes as she understands them from what she sees here. You have a paper trail showing elven merchants from the Starry Night family acting as cutouts between a serpentine crime family selling dangerous, what she understands from other things you told her, dangerous hydra teeth to agents of the nomad. Let's say nomads, because I can't remember if they're meant to be horrendously Orientalist name. Acting as a cutout, so they have plausible deniability, and no one can accuse anyone of collaborating with their sworn enemies on the other side.
Oh, I see.
It appears, and I may remind you that I think Ernest, in one of his earnest attempts to persuade you of how right his cause was, may even have mentioned that this was all to ensure that the nomads were not otherwise acquiring dangerous weapons from other people who might sell such things like Draconian.
So it's Iran-Contra all over again, in some way.
And there's even further paper trails that suggest that part of the payment in kind, payment in kind coming back to the Elven Empire in the form of dangerous mechanical weaponry produced by dwarven craftsmen in Smith City, being sent who knows where. Surely not shipped out in a ship from Smith City at the time as Ernest was leaving.
Oh, something tells me they won't have any trouble shipping that sort of
and
thing.
Yes, if people keep mentioning Iran Contra, I will say that I have no imagination and therefore just in time.
Well,
we were on the ship.
I put that diagram in Shahida for a reason. I mean, only there to be repurposed. Cool. So, Robbie, did Girl ever tell us about the mechanical boat that you uncharacteristically completely figured out?
She did tell me on the ship that there were weapons on the ship.
And Jewel told her not to go messing in the hole.
Yes, that's right. It's like, thought balloon. Oh.
Well, and when we were en route, and I had suspicion that there might have been a mechanical flying machine that was being used when we were on the boat, that would have taken what was the fellow's name who Adolfo, yes, that I had some suspicion that part of what may have allowed Adolfo to get on and off that boat would have been related to that mechanical flying thing that I saw.
So in other words, he didn't fly out as a big bird across the whole ocean. He just flew from his little platform.
Or at least, because that would make more sense, because we were pretty far out, right? I mean, we were, we had been underway for quite a while.
Anyway, so
one question I have with these papers, does it identify the specific Serpentine crime family and the specific nomad group that would be getting these? Well, I mean, that is involved in this? We know that there are multiple nomad groups out there. It's not all one,
Right, but the groups that are specifically attacking the hill folk.
Yeah.
And also specifically attacking the hill folk who were integrated with the nomads. I mean,
Right.
the nomad hill folk, sort of border culture.